resulted in passengers being stranded and in traffic backups all over the city. Now it has eased off somewhat since this morning's rush hour, but people are waiting now to see what's going to happen later in the day. Harristown is gone, as we know, Clontarf also, and there is a possibility that other routes might follow suit as well. We don't know about that yet. But the whole thing is that Bus Éireann, they're trying to save money, our Dublin Bus, sorry, they're trying to save 31 million. They're taking 120 buses out of service and curtailing other routes. Now, I'm here in Rossaville Court in Ballyfermot with the people who live in Rossaville Court who are very badly affected by the complete loss of bus number 206. And as we look around us, out on the street, Dublin Bus have been down. They've taken the tops off the bus stops, so there's no danger that the bus might stop anyway, but it's completely gone. And first of all, Pat, we're going to talk to Breed Smith. Now, Breed has been leading a number of protests here in Ballyfermot, the People Before Profit protests, and they were trying to retain the bus service.
Hello, Pat. Well, it used to come through Ballyfermot and go into the city, and then they cut it back so that it only came through Ballyfermot and down to the West County Hotel. Now there's lots of people here who totally depend on that bus service that can talk to you better about that than I can. But just to explain to you, when Dublin Bus announced its cost-cutting plan at the beginning of the year, the buses in Ballyfermot that were to be affected was the 206, which, as Valerie explained, is completely gone this morning, and the 78A, from which they were going to cut about 15% of the routes, or 15% of the schedule. And we held a public meeting, a very, very well attended public meeting. Your programme covered it way back at the beginning of February. And from there we launched a series of protests. We collected petitions through Ballyfermot. We had protests on the street, and one quite big and significant protest at the Kynemore roundabout. And we sent the petitions into the manager of the Cunningham Road depot, which services this area. So, you know, things progressed, and the unions went into dispute with Dublin Bus over the cuts and the implications the cuts would have for the drivers. And we were actually hoping that those cuts could be fended off because of the action of the trade union members in Dublin Bus. As it happens, the cuts are going ahead, and the resultant pickets on Harristown and Clontarf garages are a result of those cuts being implemented. But I have to say, well, absolutely, but the two...
Back. We want our buses back.
When do you want them back?
Now.
Now.
Bring them up this minute.
We've lost the voice.
Say about it, and you can talk to the community here, is that 6 services a day and the times at which they come is totally inadequate to facilitate the people down here. Now this end of Ballyfermot has a more than average ageing population. We're also, as Valerie said, sitting in an old folks complex called Rossaville Court, which has a population of over 60 people, none of whom would have the access to cars. A lot of them don't have the physical ability to walk the 1.5 miles to the post office, to get into James's Hospital, the 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles to see their doctor, a mile to go to church. And it totally, a lot of people totally...
No, I agree.
Well, I don't think I think those figures could be challenged. But the point is that had the service been a sensible service, first of all, they take a double-decker down. There's absolutely no need to take a double-decker bus down here. Besides which, the people who use it couldn't climb the stairs. But had they used a small bus and used it yes, exactly, and had a frequent service that people knew they could rely on, then you would avoid a situation where, depending on what time your doctor, your hospital appointment, or the time you go to mass is, that you're not taking taxis. Some of the people here in front of me, once it gets up to the main drag in Ballyfermot, you could get off and get another bus into town. However, it has to be said, when the 206 went from here into the city centre, there was a far greater usage of it. When it stopped going into the city centre, the usage dropped. But the point is that there is a significant number of people here today and tomorrow, when people get older and get sicker and arthritis kicks in, that will depend on a bus service. They are having to use taxis, and at least €15 for a taxi to go up to the shop or go to Mass.
Here, here.
Here, here.
Here, Pat.
Come on, back.